This message is brought to you by Apple Card. Shave ice by the beach. A trip to the state fair. And a throwback flick at the local drive-in. They're more than just items to check off the summer bucket list. They're also opportunities to earn 2% daily cash back when you use your Apple Card with Apple Pay. Apply for Apple Card now and use in minutes with Apple Pay. Subject to credit approval. Apple Card is issued by Goldman Sachs Bank USA, Salt Lake City branch. Terms and more at applecard.com.
Propel Fitness Water. With Gatorade electrolytes, zero sugar, and vitamins, Propel hydrates better than water to help you get the most out of your workout and get back to your best self. What propels you? Propel with Gatorade electrolytes.
AI is moving fast across the enterprise. But without visibility, it's just chaos. Different tools, different models, different teams using AI in completely different ways. ServiceNow turns that chaos into control. With the AI Control Tower, you see all your AI across the business in one place. What it's doing, what it's done, and what it's about to do. So you stay in control. To put AI to work for people, visit servicenow.com.
From the Fifth Quarter Studios in Madison, Wisconsin, you're listening to Coach Unplugged. And now, your host, Steve Collins.
Hey everybody, welcome to Coach Unplugged. I'm so happy you decided to join us today. Before we jump into the podcast, I'd like to give a big shout out to our two sponsors. First of all, Dr. Dish, the number one shoe machine on the market. We own 3 of them, and I can tell you personally, even before they became sponsors, their customer service is second to none. Every time I've had any issues with any of my machines, going back to the way old ones, they've always taken really good care of me. Also, go over and check out teachhoops.com. Oh, and mention us, and they'll give you $450 off. Mention Coach Collins or Coach Unplugged, they'll give you $450 off. Also, go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. We always tell our players that they should be working on their craft. I challenge you to work on your craft. Come over, join a community of like-minded coaches who want to make this game better. It's the reason I started Teach Hoops, is to help pay the bills for all these podcasts, but even more importantly, to give back to this great game that has given me so much. And to set up a roadmap for you to be successful, not only on the court, but off the court. And we offer a 14-day free trial. So come over and kick the tires around, see if you like it. And let's head off the podcast.
Whatever that negative energy comes in. I mean, teenagers, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on. What are you grateful for today?
Yeah.
And then you're just turning that notch to the positive level. And then you can go towards practice from there. Mm-hmm. You acknowledge when someone just loses it. Just loses it. Let them lose it, because you're never going to kind of help somebody in the midst of that breakdown. Afterwards, though, like my son, I'll use my son as an example. Very competitive kid, loses his mind sometimes. Just the things aren't fair. I got fouled, just loses it. So afterwards, I said, we have to talk about how do you recognize the triggers that are sending you down that rabbit hole before you go, because once you're in there, it's hard to get out, and then counter them. And one of the ways we do this, and one of the ways I also do this with my college athletes, is we talk about breath. So even if you're at the free throw line, if you're in the penalty box, whatever it is you're doing, you can't sit down and do a 10-minute meditation with your hands up. That, you're not going to be able to do that. But there's
I think Coach Bennett would have an issue with that if his.
But in every step, you can take a breath out, and a breath in, and a breath out, and a breath in, and a breath out. And you have time for at least 3 breaths in almost any kind of pause during a game. Free throw line, huddle, wherever you are. You can also use certain imagery, and I use this with my boys all the time, is that where's your head right now? Where is it? and very often their head is like way above their body on a string. They're just, their energy is all up here, and they're all unbalanced, and it's all angst, and it's all anger. So what we do is I say, well, imagine your head is on a balloon. And what we're going to do is we're going to pull your head back onto your body. And even have them kind of rub their own necks, And they think I'm silly and stupid, but they do it, and it makes them feel better. And I'm willing to be silly and stupid just to kind of help them bring their energy back into their body. Because the misconception is there's negative energy and there's positive energy. There's energy. It's energy. And if you can find a way to use that negative energy and bring it down into the body where it's useful, where it's going to drive in a positive direction, that's when you're going to gain some success. Again, it's going back to noticing when a player's energy is all up here. Later, when it's the right moment, naming it. Are you feeling okay? Allowing them to tell you. And then when it's known, those triggers, those things that make them pop. With my son, it's perceived injustice on the court.
Right.
And then you can start. It's a process. You don't learn to shoot a jump shot in a day, and you don't learn mental toughness or spiritual grounding in a day.
Yeah.
It's a process over time that you have to constantly address. As a mom and a coach, I can do that on the court and I can do that at home. It's harder as a coach when you only have them sometimes just an hour a day. But if that 5 minutes of that hour were spent gratitude check-in and with some sort of imagery that they can use to kind of in the midst of a game to balance them, there are ways. There are more ways too. If we had a whole 2 hours, we could just go through a whole bunch of those.
Maybe that's we'll say that for another show.
Yeah.
It's really important. But do you know Graham Beckhart? Is that name for mental coach for the Sacramento Kings? And he's coming on the show, and he has this whole palms down thought process of like you were saying, your son loses it on a refs, like that wasn't a foul, right? His hands are up in the air. Well, he's teaching his
I like that.
Palms.
Yeah, I like that.
Right?
I like that.
Anyway,
a lot of it is physical. A lot of our athletes do emotionally respond in a physical way. And so the remedy for that, or the correction for that, really is physical. The shoulders get very high. You have to take the breath and get it down. And that's really what that imagery of the balloon, pulling the balloon back on the head. You have to pull your shoulders down in order to do that. And then the story that you tell, the imagery that you use is going to affect the body. And coaches, there's not a lot of coaches, I think, who are good verbal communicators. And if that's true for you, you have to kind of gather these tools in your toolbox as a coach so that you can go back to them and use them again when words fail you, because words are going to fail you.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the moment.
Yep.
Maybe at night in bed, you're going to realize,
yep.
That's what I should have said.
That, Mary, you'll love this story. It just felt it was eating me alive. Okay, so I coached. This was a 7th grade girl, and I'm doing substitutions, and I had planned substitutions, and I'm sticking with my plan. Okay, so because I was telling you before we got on the show, it was so hot in the gym, right? So I was substituting really quickly. I didn't have a lot of subs, so in and out, in and out. And this one particular girl who was next up on the substitution list made a mistake. Okay. But because she was next, I just took her out of the game.
Sure.
Right. So you know where this is going. I'm thinking to myself, after, of course, was like, oh my goodness, she probably thought I took her out of the game because of the mistake she made. Because I don't get mad at the mistakes. I just help them. Hey, next time, here's what you missed, and this is what you should look for. And then she sat down. Okay, so this was on Saturday. On a Saturday, we had practice the following Wednesday, and I said, we meet for 5 minutes before we start practice. Just have a quick chat about what's going to happen in practice, etc. And I said to her, I have a confession to make. This has been eating me up. I explained to her what happened, and she goes, I don't even know what you're talking about. I don't even remember that. And I'm like, thank goodness, right? Like, okay, she moved on. Probably didn't even think about it. Like, okay, next play, right? But I do think about those things, because the last thing I want to do is not to have a confident player on the court.
Yeah.
And to pull someone out because they made a mistake. Now, if they're repeating that mistake, that's a different story, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, that was just
but I think your impulse was very good. And even if she didn't remember that, everyone else heard you say that. And so if it happens again by happenstance, they're going to have remembered that, oh yeah, sometimes that's the way, that memory of what you've said in kindness and compassion to that player is going to reverberate down the year to the other teammates. So I think anytime you err on the side of compassion, you're erring on the right side.
I think that's a great message, right? That coaches need to hear, is that err on the side of compassion. And I think we're losing that, or lost it, or maybe it wasn't ever there. I don't know, because I think back now and I say this out loud about some of the coaches. Were they tough? Yes. Did I think they cared? Yes. Some of them. But one of the questions I asked you when we were setting this interview up was and this goes into this perspective, then and now, right? Your playing days, your high school playing days, and now seeing your son play out of it. He's 10?
10, yeah.
Yeah. So seeing him now, you obviously are very thoughtful in looking back on your history and the things that you would change and maybe do the same, instilling this wisdom on at least, of course, life and sports, but sports, since we're talking about that specifically. What are your thoughts on the then and now? And is the game changing? Is basketball as an ecosystem changing for the good, the better, or for the worse or the better, or is there not a black and a white situation? Anyway, just a broad question.
Yeah, it's complicated. In part because when I started going up, there were no girls' teams. I played on a boys' team until I was in the 5th grade. And then when I was in the 5th grade, there was no AAU teams. There was the, 6-week youth league that I played in, and then a few camps in the summer. And so the opportunities now to play are so much broader. It's also a lot more expensive. I mean, I don't know that I could have, I'm pretty sure I could not have afforded to play basketball at the level I had been playing in high school, because it costs so much now to do the kind of travel teams that seem to be required.
This message is brought to you by Apple Card, Shave Ice by the beach, a trip to the state fair, and a throwback flick at the local drive-in. They're more than just items to check off the summer bucket list. They're also opportunities to earn 2% daily cash back when you use your Apple Card with Apple Pay. Apply for Apple Card now and use in minutes with Apple Pay. Subject to credit approval. Apple Card is issued by Goldman Sachs Bank USA, Salt Lake City branch. Terms and more at applecard.com.
Low energy, unfocused, foggy? You might be dehydrated. Gatorade Zero powders have been scientifically designed to help improve hydration balance in the body. With a clinically proven electrolyte blend and no artificial colors or flavors. Great tasting hydration no matter where you're going. Shop now online or at retailers nationwide. Gatorade, hydrates better than water. Is it in you? Symptoms noted are signs of mild to moderate dehydration. Consult a healthcare professional if symptoms persist.
It's more of a much more of an industry now than it had been when I was there. It's much more of an industry. And the fact of the matter is, most of the travel is not necessary. And as 10 years old, you can get all the competition you need within a 50-mile, probably a 10-mile radius at this point. And it really, the skill work you do at the younger level is the most important thing. The difference technologically is profound. If I had had YouTube to tell me how to do a cross jab or behind the back, or to show me Steph Curry's shooting form, or what footwork looks like when you're running the baseline and you need to square up, I would have absolutely loved that. I didn't have anybody to teach me those things. I just had to watch and learn as it went along. I think the industrialization of youth sports since I was playing when I was young is the biggest difference between the experience. So you have to be very savvy, I think, as a parent, to decide, well, what do we want? Not what they're promising. And look at what the promises are, but also look at what the experience of the athletes are too, and realize that no one is going to get an NBA contract at 13.
They're not?
Or WNBA or a college scholarship, so the joy and love and the effort and the fitness and the team camaraderie, all of those things, they last through time. That's the same as it for me as it is now. It's just that sometimes I think you can get overwhelmed by what the club is selling. And if they are selling elite athleticism and elite athletes, and that's their focus, then your kid is not an elite athlete or elite you may not want to spend your time there. And who knows if a 10-year-old is an elite anything? You just don't know. I can't remember exactly what your question is, but the differences between really, I think what is the same is that there are kids, athletes, who obviously love the sport. It's just kind of a burning in your belly. And I can see it when a kid walks on the court, whether they got it or not. There's a little, not even a swagger. It's just the desire that's evident to me. And you can see when they just want to have some fun and play. And both of those athletes should have a chance to be successful at the level that they're capable of.
How do you?
I don't think I've actually answered your question.
No, you did. You talked about the then and now, and I totally agree with the AAU programs and commercializing of basketball, and you and I learned on the blacktop.
Yeah.
And my kids always laugh. They always ask this question. You talk about that, like, how did you organize everybody? You didn't have a cell phone. Like, you didn't have text. I'm like, I think about it, like, yeah, how did we do that, right?
Yeah.
We called, or we said, we just knew we were going to meet there at the playground at a certain time on, whatever, during the summer, or, that's kind of funny. But
I think too, the ecosystem of the older player, right there, we were enthralled with the just older players, because we could watch that player and try to do what they did. They were our YouTube. Jean Eilers was my YouTube. She would do things with the ball that I couldn't even conceive of, and I would try it, mimic what she was doing. And then I had a video of Stanford, the 89 Stanford, I think it was 89 Stanford World National Championship. And I watched Jennifer Azzi shoot her shooting routine. And I did Jennifer Azzi's shooting routine for probably 6 or 7 years straight, every day, if I could swing it. So I think when there's that hunger, you're gonna find that athlete's gonna find a way to satisfy that need. And that need, I never made it to Stanford basketball. But if I hadn't had Stanford basketball to aspire to, that would have been a real loss for me. And the goal in the end, we did beat Stanford, by the way. I'm just going to throw that in there. My senior year, we beat Stanford at home. But I love Tara Vanderveer. I think she's great.
I was going to add to that. I was like, you know how many hours I practiced the sky hook?
I think we should bring that back. Right? That's a great shot, and not in ways. It's like the floater, right? Everybody's doing the floater now.
Floater. Yeah.
I mean, that's just as good a shot as the floater, especially for a little guy in the middle.
That's right. Anyway. Yeah. I mean, if you just break that down, right? The amount of distance you have between the player, the defender, and the ball,
Yeah, you could do it mathematically if you needed to. My husband's a mathematician. He could draw you the angle at which the optimal height of the ball would be achieved.
And again, when we do our next podcast about math and basketball, we'll interview.
Oh yeah, he could probably do that for you.
Well, it's funny. It's funny you bring that up, because I do bring that up to a certain degree when I train. I always I talk to the kids, and we're like, hey, what's your favorite subject in school? And if they bring up math, then I relate everything to geometry, math, equations. Basketball is just a math equation, and whatever else. And they're like, oh, I never thought about it that. And their light bulb goes on. I'm like, hey, look at the triangle, see this, right? You always, so we talk about the different types of triangles on the court, right? The geometry part of it. Anyway.
And you're seeing, like, that's how you coach. You see, what's my way of speaking to this player about this game? And it's going to be different for every player.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And that's the fun part of it, where I try to make it. Well, a mom sat in on a training session yesterday, and she goes, "Oh my gosh, you break the game down into its simplest form. It's really quite unique." And I think that's what makes it fun for the kids too. And that's the other part. She says, "Oh my gosh, the little words and little sayings use, throughout the entire training session." And I think, my big thing, and this is one of my other questions, is this balance of fun. If you think about every time you say what you're doing, which is I play basketball, play. Play means I'm supposed to be having fun. It's playtime. I'm playing a game, right? I play with my friends, set up a play date, right? I think as coaches, we suck away the fun, right? And because of the way basketball is structured right now, right? I have to win in order to attract the parents, to get the money, blah, 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 right? To get the right kids to my program, right? And, of course, there's the rec leagues and all of that, but even that, it's like, I don't know. How do we put the fun back in fundamentals in basketball? Right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to switch the word from fun to joy.
Okay.
Joy is a bit more complicated than that. It's not always laughy, clappy.
Okay, I like that.
I mean, and you can have joy in the midst of difficulty. There can just be this joy. When you take a charge, that's not fun, right?
Right.
That hurts. But there's this joy in having been in the right place at the right time, and actually, John Edgar Whiteman has something to say about play, and it's, if I can remember right, it's like you start just messing around. That's what play is. You throw a ball. I don't think I have the quote somewhere. So you throw a ball through a hoop, a silly, fun trick at first until you decide you want to do it better, right? Then what? And then you go from a fun, silly trick to where is the joy in this self-discovery and this growth in this. And joy is a kind of energy you bring. I'm feeling it right now. I want to be on the court. There's this joy that accompanies the task at hand. How many layups can we get in a row? Let's try that. There's part competition in that, and there's a part of joy of a group achievement. You can take joy in a win. You can even take joy in a loss. I know that sounds nuts, but what it is recognizing the collective feeling of that, and when you come back to the gratitude, recognizing we experienced something together, and we're going to use what we felt to create something new and joyful. Going back to gratitude, there's no better food for joy than recognizing what you're grateful for at any given moment.
And I like that. I really like the spin of the joy, because you're absolutely right. Having, I remembered a game recently where we lost, and they were more happy at the end of that loss than they were after a win. And it was just joy, because and maybe it was also the framing of it, which I think is important, is I don't put the emphasis on the outcome. I put it on the effort, and have this mentality of winning equals fun. I'm not saying it isn't part of that equation, but it's not the only thing.
Everybody likes to win.
And sometimes those really competitive families look at me, well, that's because you don't win very often, or you're not competitive enough, so you don't want to win. I'm like, that's like the opposite of how I feel. But at the same time, I don't want the outcome and my happiness or sadness be determined by what just happened on the court. Because I want to feel the joy. So I always tell the kids, I'm like, look, you already won. Why? Because this is just an hour of our time. You just spent 6 hours in practice with the coaching youth team, right? 6 hours in practice. You showed up every day. You showed effort. We're working together as a team. Here's all the things you already won. So you can't, let's not take this 1 hour and consider all the work we did for the week. If we lose, that everything we did was a failure, because it's not. Right.
Hey, everybody. I hope you're enjoying this. Make sure if you want to hear more, go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. If you want to hear other podcasts, go over and check out High School Hoops and Teacher's Side Gig by Coach Collins. And subscribe, like, review all of them. 5-star reviews would be nice. Have a great day.
NFL football season is here, which means when you switch to Verizon, it feels like touchdown, because you get NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube on us when you buy an eligible 5G phone on select unlimited plans, which means you can watch every out-of-market game every Sunday afternoon, and it's all on us. Now that's the Verizon way to kick off the NFL football season right. Switch and get NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube on us, only with Verizon.
See you.
Avatar: Fire and Ash is now streaming on Disney+. It's the film critics are calling the best Avatar yet.
Yeah, go, 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 go!
A true epic and completely jaw-dropping.
This is the only pure thing in this world.
Return to Pandora on Disney+.
It will be an adventure for the whole family.
And watch the Oscar-winning phenomenon at home.
This is sick!
Avatar: Fire and Ash, now streaming on Disney+. Rated PG-13.